Are you ready? Yes. All right, come on. Okay, good morning. There are 3 reasons you're here today. Can you tell me the first? Money. Yes. What's the second?
Knowledge.
Profit and knowledge. When you have knowledge and power, you have profit. Third, Basil. What's the third? You know the answer. Profit.
Profit.
So once you understand that we're here to educate ourselves and make a profit, that's the name of the game. I don't care what you sell. I don't care what you put it in a box. It's all going to be profit. Okay. I think I should, before we start, I only drink 1 glass a day. My doctor said, Tom, just drink 1 glass of champagne a day and you'll live forever. So I said, how big of a glass do you want me to get, Doc? He said, that's up to you. Well, first of all, I think we should thank the good Lord that everyone's gotten here safely, because people have come from Minneapolis, San Antonio, Houston, far distances, all right? And we hope that you get home safely, all right? So I know every one of you has heard about Providence. It's been on TV, it's up in Rhode Island, but divine providence is really what we're all about, all right? Now, I don't know about you, but there have been times when I said, I was a retailer, you see, many, many years ago, and I would say, Dear God, please, I need 30 orders this month. I got to make my BMW payment. Right? I mean, doesn't that happen to you? We want, and there were 10 suggestions that Moses got. People call them suggestions. I think there were really commandments. There were 3 more. Coming down the mountain, he dropped 3. You know what the 11th commandment is? Patricia, pay the bank first before you go to Jamaica. Okay? See, there are really 3, besides 3 profit laws, there are 3 money laws. And the first is pay the bank first. The second law is pay the bank first. The third law is pay your credit cards and the bank. Now you can go to Jamaica. All right? Now, the 12th commandment, you must drink. Does everyone know what a vessel is? A vessel is a container. Well, back in biblical times, that's what we used, a glass. It wasn't a glass, it was a vessel. Drink 2 vessels of red wine for your cholesterol. Okay? The 13th commandment was you can use duct tape to keep anything up. All right? I mean, duct tape will work with anything. If you want to fix something, get duct tape. All right? Okay. So first of all, I think I should raise my glass in toast for the new year and say, a toast first to love. I mean, if you don't have love in your life, forget it. The second one, I think, should be to good health. Because if you don't have good health, I mean, you're really not enjoying life. And the third one is to more money. And I hope that this symposium today will give you the tools to go home and do just that. And if I can do that today, if I can motivate you and give you some ideas and creativity, then I've done my job. I would like to acknowledge someone in the audience who's been my wife. I have to do this. I meant to do this at the beginning. All right. This side of the room has to say, who cares? But I really want you to do it real good. Who cares? Come on. And the people in the back, you down there with your head down there. Who cares? Come on.
Who cares?
A little louder.
Who cares?
All right. And over here you say, so what? So what? A little louder. Now, can you have to be louder than this group? Okay? All right, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Tom Katniss.
Who cares? So what?
Great, fantastic. All right. I don't know if you've heard the new hot term, convergence. Convergence is a new digital term that the computer industry is using, because what's happening now in the coming years is we're going to have computers being married to televisions, televisions being married to cell phones, cell phones being married to picture phones being married to tape. I mean, and it goes on and on, all right? Convergence is, the next word is digitech. Now, 5 years ago, I was illiterate when it came to computers. If you are illiterate now, please, I have a young man that's standing over there behind that camera who is my computer guru, my computer genius. I've taught myself, but he has helped me to understand how all of this technical digital stuff works. If you understand this, you can print money out of your computer. You can virtually print money out of your computer. And if you do not have an online site or a website now, start to build one, because that's tomorrow. And tomorrow, people are going to be shopping more online. Just ask yourself, how many people shopped online for the holiday this year? Look, we're all running the human race at 186,000 miles a second, right? We don't have enough time in our lives. We're all trying to get 27 hours into a 24-hour day. And if we can save time by simply click, 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 click. I mean, I can go on now and dealing with my vendors, I can within 5 minutes place 5 orders. Before it would take me an hour. You know, I'm either faxing them, I'm waiting for a confirmation. So what the computer has done for us in the last 10 years has given us the economic explosion of technology and wealth. All right, just look at Google, what Google stock is doing. So if you say, well, I don't have the time to learn, then you're going to put yourself in a very, very bad position, because if you want to make money, the internet and the computer is the way to go. So let's talk about why we're here. What I want you to do when you go back to your shop is I want you to rethink, redo, remake, re-engineer, reimagineer the new you. Because see, you may have been selling the same products, looking at the same customers, and the customers are always wanting new things. They always want to see new things. And if you can continue to present, every year you should present 5 new products to your customer, so that within 5 years you've changed 25 different gifts. See, and they're all looking for something new. And the more upscale the customer, the more corporate the customer. I can tell you right now, for those of you who live close to 3 golf courses, there's your corporate customers right there. Everyone who is a member of a golf course, they have been to Hawaii, they have been to anywhere in the United States, they've been to Paris and London, and if they see in your store gifts that they've never seen on Worth Avenue in Palm Springs, in Palm Beach, or on Rodeo Drive, I guarantee you, you're going to get the business. You're going to walk into your store and say, God, these are fantastic gifts. So you have to, just like a restaurant, you have to offer a menu of gifts, price points, starting at something quick and easy and going up to something that's very expensive, all right? Now, 2 months ago, I got a call from one of my customers in Hollywood. And they said, we just got a call from one of the sponsors of Desperate Housewives, and they wanted to do something special. But the sponsor said, we're willing to spend $300 to $400, but we don't want you to just send a gift basket with chocolates and champagne and wine in it. We want something, we want you to do something special. So the fellow says, Tom, he says, I don't know what they want, and I know that you can help me. So I said, well, how many you're going to sell? He says, I think I'm going to sell 6. And I said, well, all right, I'll charge you $200. I'll give you the creation and the idea and everything, and if that wins the prize, then you send me a check. Fine, okay. So I went back to I get my ideas in the shower. Next morning I'm in the shower, I said, okay, I'm going to do the same thing that I do with my licensed gifts. I tell him to go over to the supermarket and the newsstand and buy every book that has pictures of every movie star from Desperate Housewives. Go to Copy Center, enlarge them, put them on all the products. He said, Tom, he says, they loved it. I mean, it was very, very simple to do. So what is it that we're doing? All we're doing is we're changing the clothes on the products. When you go out to New Year's Eve, you're not wearing jeans unless they're diamond studded. So you have to think about your gifts and doing things in the same way. You've got to colorize your gifts with a color coordination. You've got to make the gift look like it has some kind of a theme to it. And by utilizing, I mean, if I wanted to make an Oprah Winfrey gift, what would I do? I would buy 5 Oprah Winfrey magazines and get all of her pictures and simply cover the basket with her pictures. And there's an Oprah Winfrey. You know, or find out what her favorite things were and possibly put some of those in, you know. And this is what the customer's looking for. The customer's looking for some energy that you're not just another gift creation, all right? Now, for those of you who in the business who have called yourself gift basket companies, I'm going to tell you, you need to add gifts. See, when someone looks in the phone book and says they see a gift basket company, they figure that's all you do. So you need to make them aware that you do gifts and gift baskets and gift creations. because otherwise they're going to say, well, I'm not really looking for a gift basket. I just want a basket, a glass basket with maybe, some things in it. So make sure that because when they look in that yellow pages, that's what they're looking for. So what I've done with all of the gifts are basically the same thing, all right? Now, if you look in the back on the bottom of your list, you're going to see, here are the primary names of the companies that sell all of the licensed products. Now, the question is, why hasn't this been done before? The answer is that no one knew where these licensed product manufacturers were. So for 7 months, I'm digging and finding out who these licensed manufacturers are. So the first one that you want to deal with, I'm trying to, Basil, you're from North Jersey? No, you're Maryland. So you have to be what? Baltimore what? The Ravens. Okay. All right. So you're going to, when you go home, you're going to call the Ravens. Are they in the playoffs? All right. So now you're talking about basketball. Does Baltimore have a basketball team? No. But Washington has the Wizards. So you're going to call the Wizards, and you ask for the pro shop. And when you get to the pro shop, you want to ask for the manager, and you say, I want to buy 2 or 3 yearbooks from you. They're $10. There's 150 to 170 pages in that book. Of that book, 90 pages is advertising. But some of those advertising pages actually have logos of the Wizards, or they have some kind of a symbol that you can use, all right? Now, see, when you buy a licensed product, as long as you pay the licensing fee, then you can resell it. You cannot copy it, but you can resell it. And this is the most important value that I can hand off to you. So let's say that you bought this book. You cannot take it to a Kinko's and recopy those pictures. But you can cut those pictures out, and without the customer knowing that they're buying them, a full-page picture you're going to sell for $1. A half-page picture you're going to sell for 75 cents. And a small picture or a logo or a symbol you're going to sell for 50 cents. Now, the book is going to cost you $10. If you've got 60 pages of players, coaches, pictures of the stadium, all of that you can use on your baskets, then you're going to wind up making $35 to $40 on this $10 investment. But you're allowed to do that because you're not copying it. Once you buy it, they don't care what you do with the book. You can set it afire, you can cut it in shreds, you can do whatever you want. Just pay me the licensing fee, all right? And the same thing. Now, the piracy that you see going on, when you see on the books, they now are putting a little tiny, I took it off the front page, but on the books, they have a little tiny holographic symbol that's scannable, so that when they check it out in the store, they know that this is an authentic book produced by the NFL. If it doesn't have that symbol on there, it's not authentic and someone's copied it, because they can't copy that holographic symbol, all right? So that's the way you can tell. If any of you go to flea markets and you buy products at flea markets, you can tell which is real and which is copied, all right? All right. So here's basically what I'm talking about. Here's a picture, Dusty Ziegler. I don't know Dusty, but he looks pretty good here. So I'm going to take Dusty's picture and possibly his name, and I'm going to use it somewhere in the gift. Now, here's what I'm going to do, just to show you just how fast and easy this is. Bob, let's get a shot of this. All right. Let me open this up, and I'm going to take a razor knife. First, you're going to make your basket. Then you're going to come back and you're going to size the product so you can see what you have to do, how you have to cut it out. Because once I take the pictures off of this basket, it's going to look like just a regular average fancy food basket. All right? So up here, almond roca. And here I've got, I think there's some cheese in here. And over here, there's some coffee. We've got Kiki Barber covering up. Now, if the household, if this is going to a man, he's not going to save the pictures, but if he's got children or grandchildren, he's going to give the pictures to them. All right? So you can see all I've done is dress the basket with the pictures, and I'm selling the pictures to the customer. Now you have to understand, women, so I can give you a comparison. If you had $500 and a friend, and you called her on Saturday and said, let's go shopping and buy shoes and handbags and outfits, she'd be thrilled to go with you. So what does a man do on a weekend when he's got $500? He goes to play golf with his friends. And men are just as vain as women, because at the golf course it's like one up. You know, how can I one up my friend, you know? Yeah, last week I got a hole in one. Yeah, that was really good. Last week I got 2 holes in one. I mean, you know, that sort of thing. So men are just as vain. And vanity sells the product. Brand identity sells the product, okay? I mean, we've all gone to the shrine of St. Gucci at one time or another. Haven't we? You know? Only $350 for this handbag? Why? Because it has the Gucci name on it. Oh, I see. This is virgin leather from a virgin lamb operating from a virgin farm that's out in the upper, Alps where the temperature is not... I mean, most of it's market. Look, honestly speaking, you're in the chocolate business. If I blindfolded you and put 5 pieces of chocolate in front of you and you didn't see the labels, you couldn't tell me which was Godiva. You couldn't tell me which was Mars. When you don't see the labels and you can't determine, it's your tongue that's telling you what's good. And there's lots of good values out there, you know. I mean, you all know that. I don't have to tell you that. But also, all I'm doing is dressing so that the real trade secrets of this whole thing, I'm not going to worry about saving the picture, I'm going to just pull it off. The 2 primary trade secrets of the value of this seminar is the list. Now you can go and let me tell you about these vendors. Most of these vendors are going to have a minimum of $250. That's a half-decent order. But now, instead of buying at retail, now you can buy at wholesale, and now you're buying at the same price that you would buy if you went to a gift store, because the gift store is buying from that company, and now you'll be able to make full markup. All right. So that single trade secret right there is going to be worth it, because it took me 7 months to do the research, and now it's taking you, just the time for you to come to the seminar. All right. Let's talk about the licensing concept. 15 years ago, licensing was no big deal. But Disney made licensing a major affair in the American economy by licensing everything with Mickey Mouse's image, from soap to shampoo to you name it. I mean, today if you wanted to buy a car, you could buy a car with Mickey Mouse's symbol on it. It would cost you. If you bought a town car over the years and you bought the Cartier series, Cartier, the jeweler, what does the jeweler have to do with making cars? He's just adding his panache. The next thing is we'll see a Tiffany motorcycle from Harley Davidson. You know what I mean? So having that name. Now, when you design your gifts, if you're not doing a theme gift, the more gifts, the more products that you can put into your basket that has names that people can identify with. All right? What happens when you go out to buy a product? There are usually five judgment points. Now, if I had a basket, and let me pick up the basket. I'll use the basket as the example. First of all, your customers are extremely shrewd. They're just as smart as you are. And when they come in, what they do is, this weighs 4.7 ounces. Well, maybe 4.8 ounces. Now, how many products are in here? There are, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, $60. All right. Ooh, Milano milk chocolate, Pepperidge Farms. That's a good brand. Oh, I know this. You see what I'm saying? They're looking for 5 reasons to buy your product. If they find 5 reasons and the size is appropriate to the price, they're going to buy the product. And let me talk about cellophane versus shrink film. A lot of people say, I don't like shrink film, it's too commercial looking. Well, guess what? Shrink film gives you a clear window. Cellophane doesn't. If you notice, I mean, printed cellophane looks great, but when you get up close, you cannot identify anything that's in the basket. All right? Professional packagers who are sending out, I did this the other day. professional packagers who are sending out gifts across the country, when they ship, shipping cellophane from, oh, let's see, UPS screwed this up again. All right, send it back to Denver. You know what I'm saying? So if you're using cellophane, it's a dog's breakfast when it shows up at the customers. I mean, and the customer opens it up and says, my God, this looks like a Mixmaster went through this, all right? And you know what happens with, all right, 10,000 bounces to Cleveland. Oh, it's wrong address. I will send it back to Philadelphia. I mean, by the time this gift gets back, it's so shaken and shook, you know what I'm saying? So there's the advantage that shrink film gives you that cellophane doesn't. Now, if you like cellophane and you're delivering it yourself, hey, use it, But true packagers are going to use shrink film all the time because they've got control of the product, especially if you're using bottles, jars, anything breakable, all right? So let's give you a trade secret. If you're shipping anything around the country, do not send any jars or bottles or products that are breakable because you totally will eliminate any complaints. You just have to have one bottle crack and bleed all over the basket, and you've heard the customers' complaints. Oh my God! And it was terrible, and it's so embarrassing, and the whole jar broke. It was all over the place, and I'm not paying for it ever again, and you won't see me. And if you don't give me my money back, I'm telling 20 of my best friends. How bad was it? Well, there was just a little tiny, it wasn't that much leakage, but just, but it was bad. So I'm saying, so forget it. You have control of the customer. The customer doesn't have, these are my rules. I'm sending this out to Cleveland, and nothing in here is breakable. This is a plastic jar, all right? So you have to design the gift to make sure that it's not breakable. Now, if the customer says, no, I want this and this and this, ma'am, I'm going to make it, and I'm going to give it to you. And then you package it. It's your responsibility for getting it there safely. I cannot guarantee that this product is going to get there safely. Right? Or bubble pack it. Now, all of a sudden, it doesn't look so attractive. But the safety of the product is more important than the beauty of the product at this point. So once you pass that point of, hey, I got to get the product there safely, then you've got to do, you got to do that. All right. What I wanted to do was to show you the high heel boot. How many of you go to the New York Gift Show or any of the gift shows? Okay. All right. And for those of you in the gift business, you should be shopping the bigger shows, because they have products that you can use in your store. I thought this was an extremely sexy woman's gift, all right? I mean, very edgy. And notice I didn't use a bow. I simply used gold cord, all right? So box of chocolates inside, and roses. I mean, it's like, it's almost like a no-brainer. These 5 boxes are nested. And what we did was, if you look at them, I have the lids on the back, all right? Now, I shimmed the bottom because the way the lid was, it was causing it to tilt forward. So by shimming it, it keeps it standing straight up. Now, to theme the gift, and this is the same box, only in a different configuration, all I did was I put a flyer mug on the top, put some candies in the top, and how many of you are familiar with Madeline chocolate? Everybody know who Madeline is? I mean, they've got all these different footballs, baseballs, golf balls, everything, and they just came out now with a new coffee, like a latte coffee containers. But I'm taking the pictures and putting them on here. So I'm going to charge 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, 50 cents, and the time to do it. Don't forget about the time to do it, all right? So this is a no-brainer. You could have your 7-year-old do this. He would love to do this, because this is a hockey gift for a man. All right? What do you need to know to keep it legal? As long as you do not photocopy anything that is copyrighted and sell it, you are not breaking the law. Yes?
You said photocopy your pictures of Desperate Housewives.
But that was his responsibility, not mine. See? So I'm saying, I'm giving him the concept, all right, but also, because it was for the show is not going to come after him because he's doing it for the show. So for you, let's do the fine line. For you to have someone come after your copyright infringement, you really are going to have to be making some big money. and the manufacturer who owns the copyright is going to have to come after you and say, you can't do this. First, they would send you a letter of cease and desist. So there's a very fine line there, okay? And I have to leave that up to you. That has to be your judgment. But I'm saying, from a legal point of view, you're not allowed to copy anything that's copyrighted or trademarked and sell it. Now, if you don't sell it and you use it as a charity, that's another furry animal on the right-hand side, you know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, it has to be your judgment to do that. As long as you don't copy it, as long as it's not a copy of a copyright or a trademark and you sell it, you don't have to be. But if you buy the product, then you can sell it. Yes, question?
I do. What about if you downloaded something from the internet, a picture of a sports team or something?
Okay. I still would say you can download it, but you can't physically sell it because you haven't paid in any way for that picture. But when you buy the yearbook, and I don't know, did you hear me talk about the yearbook? In other words, if you call your local, what you ought to do is if you have the opportunity to go into the local team pro shop. Every stadium has a pro shop now. The clothing industry and the trademark industry, the sports industry has grown unbelievably. So go into that, to that pro shop and look at all the products that you like and identify the manufacturer. Then call that manufacturer on the phone, I want a catalog. And the more you can do it, and in fact, on the very, very back end, I'm saying, that's one of the trade secrets. Make sure that you're aware, whenever you're in a gas station or whenever you're in a gift shop and you see a licensed product, a sports team product, turn it upside down and find out if there's an 800 number on there. And if there's an 800 number on it, you call them on the phone, they'll send you a catalog. And it's, and there you've got the information that, all you have to do is now, start to buy. So buying right is going to really be the right thing for you to make the justifiable profit. All right. The 10 top products that manufacturers use and that consumers, men, like to get. Anything for his desk. A mug, like a little desk caddy, a note cube, maybe some kind of a decal for the car, a decal at home, something he can hang in the office. Now, just to give you an example of how wild the pricing is, if you go into some of these sports picture frame places, you'll see Joe DiMaggio, 1947 picture, 5,900. This is an authentic, signed in 1979. Was Joe still living in 1979? I'm not sure. But you see what I'm saying? I can't say that this is an authentic autograph, especially if there's 3 in the same place. So you really have to be careful. But you see, what happens is we come back to vanity. The man's vanity must be served. I got to have that. He was my hero. I got to hang that in my... Honey, if I hang it in the bedroom, would you object? You've seen the commercial where the fellow hangs the picture of the Kung Fu, and he says, come on. He said, what do you think? She walks out of the room cursing under her breath, So, again, vanity sells the product, and whenever you can use vanity to your advantage by using brand names in your product that people can identify, then you're going to have an easier sell because they'll identify. Plus, I like the size, I like the color, I like the quantity of the products in the basket, I like the names of the products in the basket. All of those things come up to, all right. The other, and let me add some more. Miniature pennants, ballpoint pens, things that can become, that are keepsake, coasters, mouse pads. All of those things are things that individual is going to be able to use. Watches are a little bit on the pricey side, but I'm saying there's some other timepieces that you can use. But once you get the catalogs from these different companies, you're going to see calendars are another thing that can be hung on the wall. It's a great value there, And you can use that full-page calendar and sell it to put on the basketball. I took 3 large pages from the yearbook, and those 3 pages covered the backboard. Now, I just cut this out. All this is just heavy cardboard that I cut out and just taped together with 2-inch tape. So I went out and I bought myself a net. This is a kid's trash can, all right? This is a miniature bank. Downstairs is Marketing Innovations, who sells the, he sells the different, he's got basketball, baseball, miniature, and large. And then I took the 76er logo and I charged 50 cents for it and taped it onto the bank. See, so I'm enhancing. You've heard, BAS, we don't make the product, we make it better. So what you're doing is you don't make the product either. You're enhancing it and making it better by adding. So let me give you a real good example of how important packaging sells the product first. Do you agree? Quality keeps the customer coming back. Everybody stand up. You've been sitting for a few minutes. Now I want to show you just how important packaging really is. Everybody take your clothes off, your earrings, your makeup. Do you see how important packaging is? Yeah, okay, sit down, sit down. I mean, it's crucial. It's absolutely crucial. And we package ourselves. When we go to dinner, we want to look nice. Why did I change? Because I wanted to look casual today instead of with a business jacket. Normally I'm in a business jacket, all right? But again, here's the balls from Madeline. This I think was from Windcraft, all right? And again, one of the girls said, "What's in the box is empty." Never pack a basket that has an empty box in it, because the customer's going to say, "Let's see, somebody ate the box of chocolates. I'm going to, unless you want to do a new gift concept for April Fools, you sell a $25 basket, all empty boxes. Surprise, oh, it's for me. And then once they get it, then they take a picture of it. But I'm saying that's a whole new market. What's the most profitable market going on TV today? What's the most expensive program, you would say? The Super Bowl. The Super Bowl probably generates somewhere around $5 billion just that day. $5 billion between the people going, the airline industry, the restaurant industry, all of the elements, the food, everything that's involved. So that is the major. Now, the reason I made this centerpiece up, let me bring it over here. How many party people do we have in the audience? Do we have many? I'm saying party supply, party. I know you're... My assistants put their hand up because they're party people. I'm a party person too, but I didn't put my hand up. Okay, all right. Let me see if I can sketch this out for you to make it very easy so you'll be able to see what I did. If you go to the average party store, and you don't take beer, Tim, to the average party store. Okay, if you go to the average party store and you buy a flat tray, just like a deli tray, then you're going to get 2 salad bowls. And you're going to turn the salad bowls upside down, almost like an hourglass effect. And you're going to use the sticker doodles to hold it down. Then I'm going to take a large silver cookie tray. And I'm going to using 2-inch tape, I'm going to bond it to the tray, bond it here, okay? So now this is going to be my billboard. Now I'm going to take a Patriots yearbook. So here's the Patriots team. This is last year's award. Here's the owner. Here we got the Minutemen win in the minute, that sort of thing. And all I did then was take the snacks, fill them into inexpensive plastic. Now, honestly speaking, you could offer this once you know the 2 teams who are going to win. You call those pro shops and you get those magazines, their yearbook magazines. You can now offer this as a $95 without the beer. The customer provides the beer. The customer, unless you have a beer license, or pardon me, a wine and spirit license, they're going to bring in the beer. You're going to make the gift, and then you price it accordingly. The elements so far, I think this was $5. The bowls were $4 each. The board was $4. I think I spent like about $16 to $17 to physically get the superstructure, all right? This is a snack box in here, all right? So what you're doing is you're making a gift that can be used at a restaurant, at a deli, at a bar for the Super Bowl, or at home, all right? It goes together in about 20 minutes, but then the cutting of the pictures takes considerably longer. You know, but I'm saying if two people do it, within 35 to 40 minutes, you have a centerpiece, you know, that you can make. So, and you know, it goes together so quickly. So it's something you can make for yourself, or it's something that you can physically sell. And that is because people go to Super Bowl parties, you should be making Super Bowl gifts, treats that people can bring to the party of the host, you know. Anytime you go to a party, you're going to bring a bottle of wine, you're going to bring something that's, you know, that sort of thing. When you do a non-basket gift, you already know this, you save the price of the basket. You know, if you're looking to have a lower price point by having the stack set, you don't have to charge for the basket. I often question where all of the baskets go in America every year. They go to basket heaven, in the attic, in the cellar. You know, they go to yard sales. I mean, I could go to any one of your home and find at least 5 to 7 baskets. You know, some are used, some are not. You know, but everybody has, you know, and pretty soon you'll get to a point where you'll start to be able to have your own basket business and sell baskets out of your house, you know, that sort of thing. But the non-basket gift. Now, I did this over here, and I got this, I'm thinking I got this at either Kmart or Target. This is a $39 to $49 gift. This thing cost me, even if you bought it at retail, even if you bought it at retail, you could still take a good markup on it. I mean, it could be a 2-pound box of candy, a 1-pound box of snacks, or whatever. I mean, a box of popcorn, you know what I'm talking about. I mean, all it is bows, and I didn't even shrink wrap it, all right? Now, people say to me, Tom, when you make gifts for your family, what kind of gifts do you make for your family? So my mother had a 75th anniversary, and I said I had to do something special. So I said, I know. I'm going to take some family pictures. I'm going to put them on 11 by 17 sheets, and I'm going to take them to Kinko's, because these are my copyright, and I can copy them because I'm not selling them. All right. So I did that. But then I said, you know what? That's nice, but it's not big enough. So what I did was I went back to the drawing board, and I did this for my mother. Now, I made 5 sheets, and each box was from a child. So my wife and I wrote my mother a love letter and put it in here. Then my brother and his wife did one, and then my sister, and then my older brother. And then up here, this says, for best performance in the role of a mother. So now she doesn't want to open it. I said, why don't you want to open it? She says, I'm afraid I'm going to cut somebody's face. All right? So, I mean, all it is thinking out, you know, I'm saying, think outside of the box, think inside of the box. You know, there's so many options that you can do. And with technology today, there's so many things that you can do. So, I could have made this, used any theme I wanted. I could have made it a football gift, a basketball gift, your own family gift. What do you do for your top 50 or 100 biggest customers? What would you consider to be a VIP customer value? $2,000, $3,000 a year?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Right. So if you had 50 of those customers, somebody's giving you over $1,000 a year, what would you give to that person? Would you send them a holiday thank you card?
Maybe a gift with, you know, their purchases, you know.
Okay. All right, that would be good. The care and feeding of these individual people are so crucial to the foundation of your business. See, because they're probably giving you 80% of your business, and the other 20% are the smaller customers. And you want to give respect to every customer. I'm not saying to be, you know, and you always want to be courteous. But to those special people, now, I was in the florist business many years ago. And one of the things that I used to do was, the customers who were giving me a good bit of money was that I would give them a letter that said, except for Christmas, Valentine's Day, and Mother's Day, you tell me when you want me to send your wife a dozen or 2 roses at no charge. And the guy would come in and he would say, nobody does that for me. So now I have him in the store. So I go over to my refrigerator and I get out 6 roses and I cut them down very short and I wrap them up and I said, now I want you to do this. I want you to stick these under your arm when you get home, and I don't want your wife to see that you're taking roses in the house. And I want you to go upstairs and I want you to put one in the laundry basket and one on her dresser and one in her drawer and one in the bathroom, but don't go up until she hollers, what are you doing now? What did you do? But when he sees me the next time, he says, I got to try that again. That was really good. That worked good. So I'm saying, so we have to be more sensitive to the bigger customers, and we have to think of doing things, but you don't have to do things at the worst time, not at the holiday times. You got to do things when they least expect it. By giving them a gift certificate, it's only costing you half of what they're going to, So you definitely want to measure, if they're giving you $2,000 a year, a $35 gift certificate would be well within the reason. When you consider that it takes you $150 to $200 to get a customer, every new customer, between advertising every year and all the different things that you do, and now because of the internet, most of the smarter people are not spending as many dollars on advertising with Yellow Pages as they are with the internet, because the internet is the new Yellow Pages. It is the instant. I had customers in the Philippines. I remembered the store name. I couldn't remember their name. I put the store name in, Manila, plus the Philippines. In 5 seconds, I had the name of the person I was looking for. 5 seconds. That's unbelievable. So today, the internet, I said to you, it's like printing money, but you have to learn how to use it. And if you cannot learn how to use it, then you've got to hire somebody who can help you do it. Because all of a sudden, now, because I've got 40 years in the business, if you put gift basket expert in Google, out of 298 names, I come up number 1. But that's also because I have a 125 web-page website, and that's also because this is my 86th seminar. So at night, all of these search engines have what they call spiders, and they go out and investigate all these websites, and they see, number 1, how many pages does that person have? How many different mentions do they use these keywords? Keywords are the main, when you go on to any search engine, the word that you're using, if you just put gift in, you're going to come up with 150 million gift shops. None of them do gift baskets, all right? Why the gift shops don't do gift baskets, I have yet to understand. It's absolutely befuddling. They sell gifts, they sell products that they can put gifts in, but they don't sell gift baskets. It's like a no-brainer, all right? And this is the reason I'm saying to you, if you have a gift basket company and you're calling it that, you need to add gift creations so that when the customer reads it in the Yellow Pages or literature, they know that you do more than just. Because you're not just in business to do gift baskets, you're in business. See, every morning you go to work, and do you know what you do every morning? You make Americans smile by what you do. Here's what happens. Ding dong. Is this the Desiderio residence? Yeah. I have a delivery for you.
Oh, thank you.
She smiled. Did you see that? She just smiled. See, this is what happens. When people get gifts, they smile. Now, guess what? You don't think of it that way. You're just thinking dollar signs. But from a heart and a mind and a satisfaction point of view, from now on, every time you make a gift, say, this is going to make somebody happy. So you're in a very unique industry. Not everybody that goes to work every day has that opportunity. I mean, we take for granted. People say, Tom, what do you do? I say, I help all Americans celebrate their lives every day. What do you mean? I said, I design gifts that when they're delivered, people go, is this for me? Really, the whole thing? Can I have the whole thing? All right? Now, let's talk about this guy here. One of the easiest and freest advertising gimmicks that you can use. How many in here go to or are a member of a civic organization? Kiwanis, Rotary, okay. And most of you are members of some kind of a religious organization, church? Okay, all right. You need to join 3 other churches. It can be in the same religion. See, because your customer base, now we go back to technology of computer. From now on, every time you meet someone and you get their card, you ask them for their email. Because once you start to build your email, did anybody in here get an email from me announcing that I was doing the symposium? Okay, you got one. Okay, all right. So we sent out about 450 emails to our customers to say, we're having a seminar, you're invited, we'd like you to be part of it, you know, that. So, but that all took exactly 7 minutes. No postage, no envelope. It was click, 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 and Kristen did it for me, all right? And I came in and I said, did you do that? She says, oh, I did it 3 minutes ago. So, I mean, and that's the age of technology and digital energy that we live in. So, from now on, every time you meet someone, and when you go out to civic groups, you bring all the cards you can, and you go out and you shake people's hand like you're running for president. Remember Jimmy Carter? I'm Jimmy Carter, I'm running for president. All right, you see, and you get their card, and if they don't have their email address, you get your pen out and say, I want to send you something that's great interest to you. Give me your email. And you send them, you know, Benjamin Franklin's advice. Penny saved is a penny earned. But now you got their email, you see. And when you communicate with them, you got to send them something of value. Otherwise, it becomes spam, see. I mean, if you're going to sell them something, you got to put something in that message that's also going to save them time. If I took everybody's wallet in here, where do you keep all your extra information to call your credit card companies if somebody stole your wallet? I mean, you see what I'm saying? So when you go home, copy all that information and put it in one spot so you got those numbers. Otherwise, you have a heart attack. So I'm saying, if you're going to send information out to these people, you got to mix it with information of value. All right? So let's go back to this. So you belong to a church. Sharon. Sharon belongs to this church, and they have, how many people in your congregation? 1,000? 1,000 people, okay. But she's only doing business with 20. Now, every church has a core group, and every church has some kind of a bazaar at Christmas time or whatever, okay? Now, what Sharon wants to do is she wants to volunteer her service. Has anybody ever gotten a letter here from anybody volunteering to help you do anything? No. People don't volunteer. They don't. But when Sharon sends this to the chairperson of the bazaar and says, I'm going to volunteer to help you, this woman might even get down on her knees and say, thank you, Lord, because this is the first volunteer I've ever gotten. All right? Now, here's what Sharon's going to do. First, she's going to get a letter from the chair bazaar person that says Sharon is authorized to solicit, now, for gifts. So she only needs a basket, $3. I mean, if you want to go to Kmart or Big Shots or Big Lots. I mean, $2, now $1.98. You know, I mean, I bought this tree, which is not real. It's a Ficus benjamina. I think I got it for $19.50. All right. So a real one's like maybe $25. All right. But see, you need people to buy things for you. So the 3 bottles of wine are going to come from the board of directors. Each one's going to give you a bottle of wine, okay? Then some people are going to give you boxes of candy, all right? Or some money for you to buy the box. Then the bank that the church deals with is going to give you a donation of $100 in 1s, 5s, and 10s, all right? And you're going to add that. Now, at this point, the donation has cost you $0. It doesn't cost the church. If you hustle this and you make 4 or 5 other gifts, it doesn't have to be all money trees, but other sports gifts, because see, when men come to church raffles, if they only just see feminine gifts, they, there's a Rangers gift. Yeah, I'll take a chance. So I'm saying you got to entertain your community. So all of a sudden, no cost to create the gifts, and you just raised $1,000 for your church. Do you think the chairman is going to be pleased with your effort? Do you think she's going to talk about, you know, we hear the old saying, and they said, who's they? Society. Society is they. It's those people who you know that talk about you. But if you do good things for them, that wonderful Sharon Sneed, she did a wonderful job. We have to get her on more committees. Okay? Now, Sharon, now you're going to go to the other 3 churches. And you're going to do the same thing. See, because now, if you got 25 or 30 names on your email list, and imagine if you start to get really good PR from this now when you go to the other, you do the other. So you only really need to do 4 major charities a year. It can be 4 churches, it can be the Heart Association, the Lung Association, the local hospital, but you got to go where the money is. So if the country club people are the doctors, you do the hospital first. Now, always take care of the doctors' wives, because they're the ones who really spend the money. The doctor says to the secretary, honey, go buy a gift for $50. Where are you going? I'm going to play golf. Go buy something nice. The secretary takes care of it, or the wife takes care of it. All right? So the concept of charity, to get your name out in front of these organizations. So imagine 100 men in a room and Sharon. I don't know if you have a ring on. Do you have a... Okay, well, that's okay, but you can defend yourself. But I'm saying, 100 men in a room with Sharon showing them her Super Bowl gift for their next party that they can raffle off. So all of a sudden, Sharon becomes the person in town. See, if I came to your town, is it Virga? If I came to, where are you from? Jersey City. If I came to Jersey City, I said to you, I'm coming to Jersey City next Thursday night. Would you take me to dinner? And she says, is that your friend? Mom, I thought it was your sister. And you say to your mom, we have to take him out, some nice place. And she says, I know, Wendy's. We'll take him to Wendy's. Why wouldn't we go to Wendy's? Vanity. So, oh, we have to take him someplace nice. He thinks he's important. So you're going to take me someplace nice. All right, so again, vanity is being served, and you want to make a good impression. So, and we all want to make a good impression. So, packaging sells the product first. Quality keeps the customer coming back, all right? And remember, quality never costs. At one time or another, everyone in this room has purchased one of those cheap grass seed spreaders for $7.95 at Sears that lasted 15 minutes. And you said, I could kick myself. I knew I should have spent $19.99 because it broke right away. All right. So if you're going to always make sure that you're dealing with quality. Once you deal with quality at the highest level, then you'll never have to go back and say, kick yourself. All right. So just to go back to the community service. When you get involved with community service, when you are not around and you do good for people, I'm going to tell you right now, you get credit. And you don't have to donate everything. This is what I'm saying. You don't have to donate the basket. You get the other members in the organization to donate the parcels. You're going to be the pusher. You're going to be the chairperson, and you want to go to the meeting. On my website, I offer a golf cart video. Most people don't understand how you use this. Imagine you getting involved with the local hospital where they're going to have a golf outing. Now, at that golf outing, there's going to probably be 140 men. Most of them are going to be doctors. The others are going to be lawyers. Most of them are going to be civic leaders, okay? And if you could put your name across here that said, what's the name of your? In Good Taste. Designed and created by In Good Taste with your names on it. Now, this goes on the first tee. What happens is, you have to contact, when you find out that there's a tournament in town, you're going to contact the chairperson 4 or 5 months before. Every sports writer in your newspaper, in the newspaper business, knows what tournaments are going to happen each year because they go out and play. So you call them and find out what are the 4 top golf tournaments in our community, and they'll tell you. Now you find out who the chairpersons are, and you're going to do that same thing. You're going to send a letter out and volunteer your efforts. And you're going to take a picture from my web and you're going to show them, I can create this for you. I will not charge you anything, but you have to provide gift certificates for me. And each, just like I did the gift certificates from the individual vendors. So they'll go to restaurants, they'll go to merchants, and they'll get, let's say, $150, $200 or whatever. And you don't even have to shrink wrap it, and you put it just big, and then you have a ribbon. See the ribbon up here? I got the ribbon. It's going to put your name. So everyone, and you're going to do this on the first tee. So from the time, from 9 o'clock from the start until 2:30, 3 o'clock, you're making the gift as every foursome comes through. And you now need 140 business cards, because most of these people are going to say, Sharon, do I know you? What? This is fantastic. I've never seen this. Do you have a business card? That's how you get free publicity. That's how you get your name. And you say to the people at the committee, I'd like to have my picture with you and the chairperson and some of the other committee people in front of the golf cart. Can we do that? Yeah, you know, the newspaper. This would be great. Well, let's do the newspaper. We'll do that newspaper shot right here. See, they always have you've seen the pictures. Somebody's holding a golf club, usually a putter. You know, it's 3 women and 2 men, you know, and they're the committee people, and they're making plans. You want to be in that picture, and you want to be in the picture because there's always a picture after. And the after picture is showing your golf cart. Now, when you walk down the street, people say, Sharon, I saw you in the newspaper. That's free advertising, but you have to be the promotion. The locomotion of your train is advertising and promotion. Sales comes next. When you get your name in front of your customers, all of a sudden you become a brand. When you become a brand and no one else in your community, how many florists do we have in the audience? How many florists? No florists, okay. Everybody else, how many traditional candy stores? All right, so that's like 80%. The rest are basically basket people, a gift basket and gift people, okay. All right, so what I'm saying is, in your community you have, what's the name of your town? Danville, Virginia. So that's 50,000, 50, 60,000. You got 3 florists, 2 candy shops, 4 supermarkets, 1 florist. Okay. One candy. You. Okay. All right. So that's even better. Now you have no competition. But remember, anyone who sells a gift is a competitor of yours. You know. But this is a concept that will absolutely work for you, because you want to get your name in front of the customer. So anything that can get your name in front of the customer, all right? We've all experienced claustrophobia. Claustrophobia is the fear of high prices or paying too much for something. But when vanity comes into the mix, all right? Let me go back to what we were talking about when I said, the customer comes in, they weigh the basket. Now, before the customer has come into your store, they have already figured out what they're going to spend. Is it Kathleen? Kathleen, you have a college friend. You went 4 years, and you were sorority sisters, and you were best friends, and she has a new husband, and she's coming to town, and you guys live in Baldwin, and she's staying at that nice new hotel, and you say to your husband, I've got to get a special welcome reception amenity gift for her. And you go to the wine store, and you say, oh, I know she loves champagne. Should I get a bottle of Cook's? How much is Cook's champagne? And the guy says, $1.99. Oh, I can't do that. I can't do that because she's too important. How much is a bottle of Dom? 109. Okay, now we're. You see, you haven't seen her in a number of years, and you want to impress her. So you have to understand the mentality of the customer who's coming into your store. Why are they coming into your store? They're coming in because they want to send something. Number 1, they want to be proud of what they send. Number 1. Number 2, they want to know that the customer is going to appreciate their thoughtfulness. Number 3, they're going to make sure that what they buy is up to the relationship money-wise that they have with this person. So if it's your old friend's niece's cousin who was a babysitter, you're going to spend $20. But because it is your old friend from college, you don't mind spending $175 because she did a favor for you that got you a job. You know what I'm saying? A long story, okay? So we're always measuring in the same way that we're measuring for the VIP. If the customer is giving us $5,000, we can afford to spend $200. If the customer is giving us $1,000, we can afford to spend $25, or 2.5% of, all right? So that customer knows what they're spending before they come into your store. All right, now, on the back of the customer is vanity buttons. Vanity buttons. Patricia, So you're getting your mother-in-law a gift, and she's been a wonderful person. I push the vanity button. Yeah, and you only want to spend $15? I think, do you see? Do you see what I'm saying? I think you want to spend maybe $45 or $50. See, again, we have, the buttons on your back are vanity, desire, want, and guilt. You know, I mean, so you haven't talked with her for 3 years, I think $300 might help. You see what I'm saying? So all of these points, you do the same thing when you go to buy something for somebody else. You measure all of these points, you know. My God, Basil says, this guy and I we played football together, and I got giant tickets on the 50-yard line, you know, and they cost me $300 a seat. You know, this guy was such a... So remember that when the customer comes in, because now you can say things like, are you trying to impress, is this person important to you? Yes, but she's just, you know, she was just my babysitter. Well, I don't care what you say to her. This woman is not going to spend any money until you find out the reason why she's buying this and what the likes and the dislikes of the customer that she's going to give it to. Now you're starting to get some history. Now you can get a feel for, well, she's a really old friend and I want to get her something nice. And she's looking at a $45 gift. You say, you know, that's a nice gift. But if you really want to do it, knock her socks off and impress her, I think 65 or 70 would be it. Now, you have to understand something. People love to be in the middle. Our gifts start at $35, $40, $50, $60, $75, $80, $100, and $125. And if you really want something that we were going to send to Michael Eisner at Disney, I'd say $350. Now, you've given her this full range of pricing, and she says, did you say $50? See, so she doesn't want to be the lowest, and she doesn't need to take the highest, but she's going to take a middle price. So the sales part of what you do, besides designing the gift, is also crucial to the sale. Because, first of all, you're interacting with the person. You're forming a relationship. Now, for those of you, you remember there was an old ad, the Isuzu salesman. He was this very sharp New York type. You know, he always had all the right answers. He's always dressing nice. And the customer comes in, and the customer doesn't like his deal, so he's going out. So he grabs his leg, and the customer's going out, and he's dragging the salesman. The salesman won't let him go, all right? Now, what happens is, especially if you are an owner, when someone comes into your store, you have to make love to that person legally. Ethically, non-naughty, nice, you know, nice customer, come back, please. See, they have money in their pocket. They have credit cards. They've come to your store. Do you know why they've come to your store? If they've never been in your store before? Sharon, geez, I've come in to see what you do. You don't do much, do you, huh? I mean, quietly, this is what they're saying. If they can't find something that they like, they're saying, well, it was a very nice meeting, you know. Or they come in, and you receive them, because reception is so crucial. In this very impersonal world that we live in today, if you want to sell somebody a product, you got to shake their hand. You know, Tommy Lasorda loved to love his players. He was a coach for the LA Dodgers. He was probably the most lovable baseball coach in history. And the reason was that he was not afraid to show his emotion to his team, where other members were always very distant and cold. And he won more World Series and more games for the Dodgers than any previous coach. So what I'm saying is, you don't have to make love to your customer, but you need to be attentive to their concerns. You need to be, oh, I'm sorry, I'm the owner. My name is Sharon Sneed, and you are, and do you have an email address? Or why don't you fill out one of our customer appreciation information slips that give me all the information data that I need to put into my computer page so I can, you see what I'm saying? So, but see, the thing is, if you give them a coupon for $10 on their next purchase, oh, I'll be happy to. So always give something. If they're going to give you something, give them something in return that's going to make it an easier sell, okay? How about some questions? Anybody got who has the next question? You had a question. You were thinking about a question, weren't you? No? All right, okay. Okay, here's a question. Stand up, stand up. Come on.
I'm a little bit stomped about.
Marguerite, stand
Yes.
up. All right, darling.
I am
Yeah,
standing.
go ahead. All right.
It says I'm short.
Okay, come on.
Yeah, a nice markup. I don't.
All right, so let's go over that real quick. Okay, all right. If you went downstairs and bought a box of candy for $1, what would you sell it for in your store?
Well, I don't know what the industry, what's the standard industry?
$2. So the industry is saying $2. So that's Keystone, 100% markup. Okay. When you sell a gift, you need to get 2 1/4 to 2 1/2, and even possibly 3. Now, that may sound difficult to do, and in some cases it is. But when you shop, if you are looking for larger products, larger boxes that give you some economy and size, then you still can command that. But I'm going to say the average is 2 1/4 to 2 1/2. Now, why do you need that extra money? Well, first of all, for your 401k, so you retire with money. Number two, who's paying, if you only mark it up 100%, who's paying for the lights? Who's paying for the heat, the air conditioning, the gas to get you to work every day? See, if you shave that off of that 100%, by the time you're finished, you're down to 73% markup, not 100% markup. So if you take that 250, 2 1/4 to 250, that 50% extra, 50 cent extra is going to cover those expenses, and you're getting a full 100% markup. Now, if you make your presentation and your gifts showier, almost everybody does flare top packaging. What I do that's different is I'll do a shrink bottom and a printed top, or I'll do a shrink bottom with gossamer, iridescent top. Now what happens is, look at what we lose. I mean, it doesn't look naked, but we just lost 6 to 7 inches on the top and 6 to 7 inches on the side. So again, like a peacock. If you see a peacock standing around in the farmyard, I mean, come on, there's no big deal. And then all of a sudden, he sees a female and he goes, whoo! His hard drive came into software. So, flare top packaging adds to the presentation of the gift. And you can mix 2 or 3 colors. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a piece that's 12 inches wide of printed cellophane, and I'm pleating it back and forth in my hands. And when I get to the end, I wind up with one very narrow strip, and I'm going to take a twist tie. I'm always using twist ties as opposed to string. String takes you much longer to tie, and you need 2, 3 fingers or 4 fingers to do it, or 2 people. Twist tie, you got it once, twice, it's done. Now, the secret here is, here's the twist tie here. This is a second piece. See this piece? This is the shrink. So I've made it into a ponytail, tape here and tape here. So when I bring the fan up, I take and twist, and I use very long twist ties, not short twist ties, so I can get that extra piece in there. And then I'll tape it here, and that will hold that up, and then I'll fan it on the side, all right? Now, you can see the difference. Look at this was for a baseball fan who was female. A little more glittery, iridescent material. Most men couldn't care about iridescent material. It's like, give me a break. But there's a lot of female fans today, baseball, football, all right? And so having the extra height adds extra perceived size to the gift. Now, what happens when a customer comes in, is it Carmel? Camille. What happens when a customer comes into your store? They say to you, Camille, I want a $100 gift. You smile. $100 gift, I don't get this every day. For $29. For $29. I want a $100 gift for $29. Isn't that what happens? They say, I can give you a $100 gift for $29, but there's a very big delivery charge. Let me talk about the champagne bottle and how I guess about 5 years ago, a I said to myself, how can I make a champagne bottle look like it has exploded? And we selling shredded material and this iridescent material. So over a period of about 8 or 9 months, I came up. What I did was I took squares of the iridescent, 12-inch squares. First, I pulled the iridescent material off and rolled it up into a big ball and crushed it. And when you crush it, you compress. There's 27 color layers to the iridescent material. That almost sounds impossible, but that's how thin it is. All right. And when you do that, you break all the facets, colors in there. Then I open it up and smooth it out, and then I cut it into 12-inch squares. And when I cut it into a 12-inch square, then what I do, I'll make it into like a napkin. So now I have 4 corners, all right? Then I'll double this over, and I'll tape it, Scotch tape it. Then I start at the top, and I'll tape it all the way around. And then I'll get a row of 5 of these at the top. And then I'll take and go around so that the tape is like a collar holding, just like a belt holding your slacks up, okay? Then I'll put another row in. I usually put 3 rows in. Now, I'll mix the star film and the iridescent. I'll put a row of star, or I'll take and put 2 pieces, the iridescent and the star film, in the same fold, so that I get that, okay? Now, before I do that, I'm going to Scotch tape these up. I'll cut them in such a way that, and I'll Scotch tape those around the neck. Now, think of a toilet paper roll, and what you're going to do is, on a smaller bottle, you're going to just slide it over the neck, and then you start to add all of your shred. When you get to the point down here, you're going to take the sticker doodles, which are the pressure-sensitive white that, if you're using glue dots, you know how glue dots work. Well, sticker doodles are 10 times stronger. So I'll take and dip that into gold mylar, pull the excess off, and then stick it up under here, and go all the way around. Now, when you do it with the dowel, you can now change it from bottle to bottle. All right, so you can put champagne, you can do whatever you want. But when I travel, I will take this with me. So when I get on the plane, the stewardess gives me really great service, and everybody wants to follow me. All right, where's the party? I said, you never want to get on a plane without enough champagne. What if we have to stay on the tarmac for 5 hours? We have something to drink. So now I use it as a prop, and we use it as a party centerpiece. When we go out and we have 6 or 8 friends to go out to dinner, I'll take this along with me. And then if you add balloons going up, a champagne bottle balloon, it makes it even more dramatic. And what I did was in here, to show, what I did was I made a smaller version. So you can make see, I made a smaller version. And this, for those of you, this is what I call cosmic stardust. And what we do with this is we use it as, in the same way that you would use your makeup and jewelry as an accent. And this is what Tinkerbell uses to keep Peter Pan up at Disney World. Now, Peter Pan's getting older, and he needs some energy, so his hard drive isn't what it used to be either. No, if I had made the one, I left that one home. I could, yeah, think of a toilet paper roll, or if you're doing a bigger one, then you would just cut maybe 1/3 of the paper, like a paper towel, hollow, Do you trim it afterwards? I trim it, yes, I do trim it, because sometimes it gets a little too unruly. And the same thing down here, I'll trim it off so that it doesn't look, but it looks like I've shaken the bottle, and it, and it's, now, I also have some really big bottles that I do that with. But, I mean, here's another example, of, and this makes a great door prize. Again, a nice little charity. See, under here I've got, no, that wasn't part of it. I have a little twist tie under that shouldn't be part of it. But here's the sticker doodle. See, the sticker doodle, I dip that in and I put it on. I sell the sticker doodle. I invented them. I invented sticker doodles in 1987. So, And they're sort of like duct tape. They'll hold anything up. This is a plastic container, and I have the name of the company. I don't have it here at the show. But I have the, isn't this good looking? I mean, you don't have to use little miniature bottles in it, you know, if you don't have a license. And let's talk about that. A lot of people will say, you know, how can I sell wine baskets or liquor baskets? You really can't. You have to let the customer give you the bottle, and they pack it. You know, we have to think of our businesses as a child if you're just starting out. And if you fed a child all the vitamins in the world and all the nutrients in the world, within 3 to 5 years, the child would show that, but not in the very beginning. And what happens sometimes, I'm trying to remember there was an airline that started up out of Newark. What was the airline about 7 or 8 years ago that started up real fast? It was like a rocket that ran out of jet fuel. And with your business, you don't build a good business foundation quickly unless you have, you know, people say in the wine industry, you know how to make a small fortune in the wine industry in California? You start out with a big fortune. See, because it's so time intensive and it's so expensive to sell wine. To make wine, it's very cheap. But to sell wine and distribute wine and to market wine, that's really where the cost is, all right? So you have to proportionately think of yourself as an airplane. An airplane works on 4 different forces, all of them in balance. When any one of those falls out of balance, you're in serious trouble. So you've got to think about your financial budgeting. You've got to think about the promotion that you're doing. You've got to think about the inventory. You've got to think about the stock that you're carrying, the money to get you from month to month. That's all part of your budgeting and all of the administration and all of that. So all of those things must be part and parcel of the balance. That's, you know. Let's see. If I was giving you advice, I would say, number one, trust no one who handles your money. Always make sure that your hand is on the money lever. Now, if you have a, let's say, yeah, I'm saying, but I'm talking if you have a controller, if you have a bookkeeper, and that person is handling money, you have to have safeguards to make sure that you're double checking the handling. Now, I mean, I can tell you hundreds of stories of old companies who had trusted bookkeepers for years, who always took a world trip around the world on the QE2 every year at their, I mean, I'm saying really, you know. So, and they always said, gee, she must have invested well. Well, she was stealing terribly, you know, from the company. So we have to have safeguards for financial, you know, in the same way that, you know, checkbooks, bank statements, deposits, you know, there's got to be somebody looking over their shoulder besides you so that you always have another pair of eyes, okay? The other thing, how many people in here have partners? Okay, all right. If you two want to be partners, are you sisters? You're friends. How long have you been in business?
A year.
A year. You want to be friends 10 to 20 years from now? Okay. Then you have to sit down with each other and decide if one wants to sell and the other wants to keep, what's going to happen? And you're eventually going to have to go to one lawyer, not to two. You go to 2 lawyers and you'll be farther away. You go to one lawyer and say, here's what we want to do. We want to set up some kind of a buy-sell agreement that says if Sharon decides to leave the business and she wants her share, then we have to have some kind of equitable settlement so that Lisa can buy the business. Now, I can tell you stories, horrifying stories of people, partners who were best friends who went into business and then brought children. They brought their children and relatives into the business. Don't ever do that. If you want to, and I'm saying, it will ruin your business because now vanity becomes at its worst. You called my son a little wimp. How about your daughter? You say, well, before it's done. It's done. You know what I mean? You're getting in bed. You're having. This is a marriage with no sex. That's a partnership. And if you don't have trust, when trust goes out the window, forget it. It's done. So you have to safeguard yourself now to make sure that that doesn't happen. I know of 2 girls in L.A. who spent $250,000 each fighting each other when they just should have said, look, what do you want to do? You make the decision, and I'm out of here, you know. And then it cost them an arm and a leg, and you know. and they lost a friend and lost a business. So when you're dealing with a partnership or when you're dealing with any kind of agreement, make sure that you negotiate the agreement and you get it on the dotted line. Anytime someone gives you an order for over $500 and there's stipulations or that you have to meet a time delivery or anything like that, get it in writing and have them sign it, because they can come back to you and say, well, Sharon, we didn't really discuss that value, did we? And you said, yes, we did. On January 2nd, you called me and oh no, I don't remember. Well, you know. So again, you know, dot the I's, cross the T's, and make sure that you don't put yourself in a position where the customer can take advantage of you, because they will. If there's an opening where somebody can say, well, I'm not paying for this because you didn't fulfill, they'll do that, all right? And I guess the other thing on love, our entire world is based on love. I mean, I'm not just talking about romantic love or marriage love, I'm talking about love of sport or love of hobby or love, I mean, find something. When I walk by a carved door, I'll spend 20 minutes there. You know, I have a friend who always wanted to be a jeweler, that when he walks by a jewelry store, his head's like this, you know? So I'm saying, so if you have a hobby, I mean, that's a love also. And when we find someone that we can share this love with in marriage, then it becomes even better. And today, you know, when half the world is marrying and divorcing in 4 to 5 years, you know, that's a serious thing, because the foundation of the world is marriage, you know, and when marriages break up, that means children break up, they lose their parents, you know, and that sort of thing. So I would say, you know, every day you count your blessings, you know. I got up feeling great today, Lord, thanks again, you know. How many millionaires do we have in the audience? Okay, every one of you came here feeling that you weren't worth $1 million. Anybody worth $1 million, feeling that they're worth? Hey, you got two. We got two. Okay. All right. Camille, how much are your arms worth? 10 million? Go with me on this. Go with me, Camille. 10, would you say 5 million for each arm? 5 million for each arm. Okay. And Patricia, would you say that your eyes, your ears, and your tongue are worth 10 million?
Yes.
Okay. And Michael, I mean, what do you say? Toes, all the fingers and toes, 10 million? Okay. And how about your mind? Okay, Sharon, and your heart and your soul. So they all add up to maybe $100 million. Now, you can't spend it. But boy, when you say to yourself, I am worth $100 million, these other people just don't know it. You know? That can automatically make you feel every day when you get up. Now, you walk into any hospital. I have a friend who, when he's had a stroke, he no longer has the use of he was a Marine, no longer has the use of his right side. He can't move his right hand. He can say 3 words, all right? This guy was as lean and mean as you could imagine, but he smoked for years. And he had a heart attack and he had a stroke. So we take our health for granted until it becomes endangered. And then all of a sudden we recognize that, hey, we better start to take care of ourselves. Right? Yes, another question, Marguerite.
Yeah, this, the fan, the spray that you put,
Right.
very beautiful.
Right.
How would you ship it?
I wouldn't be concerned. I would ship it, let me address it. I would ship it in a box, and I would just simply put paper pushed against the fan. Now, when you ship something across the country, the customer is going to be all forgiving. As long as the product inside arrives safely, the customer recognizes you've shipped it, you've had to compress it, you've had to protect it, so it's not going to look as beautiful as you would like it to look. But when they take it out of the box, as long as everything is intact and they're able to use everything, you know, I mean, they'll forgive a little sin here and a little sin there, but if there's 3 or 4 sins, now all of a sudden they'll probably have a complaint. But that's how I would do it. Now, one way that every day you throw boxes out your trash door, all right? So I'm going to save you some money. From now on, when you get these large boxes in, I want you to take the box and I want you to take a razor knife and cut it down the middle where there's always a glued end or stapled end, cut it down there, and then turn it inside out in this flat condition. And I want you to find a place for 5 or 6 or 7 boxes so you can sort of hide them vertically, standing up. When someone says, Patricia, I want this to go to Denver, can you send this gift to Denver? It has to be there next week. I can send this gift to Denver. I charge a $3.50 packing charge, and then whatever UPS charges, I don't make any profit on that. Now, you're selling the box. The customer doesn't know you've cut it in half. You're making $3.50 on the box, all right? Now, you take the box, you now bring the box back, and you take heavy 2-inch tape, the brown duct tape or just regular brown cellophane tape, and you tape that box, that corner, back together again. Now you have a new box. The printing is on the inside, and you print up a little letter that says, I am very environmentally concerned, and we would like to save trees, and it's true. I want to save trees, and we're saving trees by reusing and reusing this box over again. Exactly, yeah. So I'm saying, so if you use 100 to 125 boxes like that at $3 to $4 each, let's say 100 boxes, you make $400. For you to make $400 in pure profit, you have to sell $2,500 worth of merchandise. So that $400, that's a nice little piece. And it's something that takes just a few extra minutes to do, you know. So I mean, there's another way for you to save money and to make money by simply doing, you know, a very, very simple trick. On my VIP list in my community, I would put the police chief, the fire chief, the mayor, and all the council members. And make sure that these people are on your email list, and you should find out when their wives' birthdays are. So you can email them 2 weeks before to say, Chief, your wife's birthday's in 2 weeks, and I could probably send her something if you'd like, and you might get the business. But what you're doing is you're alerting the person that when you get stopped by a policeman and he says, ma'am, you ran that stop sign. I know, I did it. I didn't want to do it. They made me do it. But I know the chief really well. Can you forgive me? You know? I mean, look, you have to play the begging game. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do it. The devil made me do it. You know? So I'm saying, to be known in the community by these people when you see them socially, you know, at a civic function. And another thing, you know, I would go to as many civic functions as I possibly can. You know who the shakers and the movers are. You know who the people who move the community. They're banking, they're lawyers, they're doctors, there's businessmen. And put together a hit list for 1 year. One major company a month. And go after that company with a vengeance, all right? Now, we go back to the charity concept. I would say if you found out the 4 or 5 major charities in your community, and you found out that these were business people, and you wrote to them. Remember we talked about writing to and volunteering? This guy's going to say, my God, I just got a letter from somebody who volunteered. I have to go out and get volunteers. So now you're targeting the person that you want, and you're going to help him do something for the community. And I'm going to tell you something right now. He will tell his friends all about this wonderful person who volunteered and helped me. So, I mean, that's how you build community word-of-mouth advertising. And certainly advertising and printed, you know, yellow pages and all of that is good, and you have to have that because most people today will go to the yellow pages first, and then they'll go online. If they can't find it in the yellow pages, then they'll go online. But in another 10 years, that will no longer be because the younger generation, they're on the line all the time. They're in front of their computer every minute of the day, and they won't go to the yellow pages, you know. So any other questions?
I'm unfamiliar with the whole packaging concept with the basket thing. I've never really done much with that, and I like all the ideas you've presented.
Right.
They're, you know, you're really capitalizing on the height. And
Over there on that table is our 3-video package. It's a 6-hour. Now, this sounds like a shill, but I don't know this guy from Adam. We sell both VHS and DVD, 6 hours of video that will give you 3 times as much information as you've gotten today. 83 trade secrets. I'll show you how to, I'll show you how to do 25 different gifts from start to finish, from empty basket all the way up. And that is going to be Gift Basket University for you. And what business are you in now?
Mostly chocolates and candies. I'd like to expand.
Okay, all right. Did I tell you the 3 most important choices that people love to get in a gift? I don't think I mentioned that. The first is chocolate. The second is chocolate. Can anybody tell me the third? Chocolate nuts. The fourth, chocolate pretzels. Chocolate anything. Why? Because, here's the sticker doodles. Who was asking? Here. Well, I'm going to give you a good example of how they work. Let me show you. Now, I have 4 sticker doodles on there. So that shows you how strong they are, all right? Now, the trick is to make sure that you don't put the sticker doodles on any special part of the packaging or the box to damage it. On the other hand, you know, I'm a cellophane tape user. And when something doesn't work with sticker doodles, then I'll use cellophane tape. And a lot of people will object to that. And I say to them, do you know of anyone who's ever gotten a gift with cookies, chocolates, and candies who saved the box after the chocolates were eaten? No. Maybe a grandmother will give her a niece or granddaughter a fancy box for her little crayons or something like that. But the box isn't saved, it's thrown out. So you certainly want to protect the integrity of the packaging by not putting something that's going to damage it when they take it apart. Now, there's another way, if you're concerned about that. You put a small note in the envelope that says, to eliminate damaging the packaging, please take a scissors and cut between the boxes to cut the cellophane tape and leave the cellophane tape on the box. And that way the boxes come off and there's no damage, okay? So that's the strength of that.
That you have, if you put the sticker on that, wouldn't, when you take their pre-made boxes, so you wouldn't want it.
You lost me. You give me the, stand up and give me the question now. What?
Pre-made boxes that you stacked over there.
Right, okay. Over here?
Yeah.
In here, right.
No, no.
Oh, these, no, these are not sticker dude. No. If I open this up, these are all loose. Yeah, no, these are all, they're all loose. Yeah, I would, because then you are going to damage it. Yeah, you'll because those are keepables. Yeah, those boxes are keepable. So I would never put, now you could use a glue dot on there, and the glue dot will peel off, because it doesn't have that much adhesion. Yes?
Okay, those 2 bottles are stuck together. How easy is it to get apart?
Well, I mean, I'm going to need effort, but there's a lot. Let's go back and look at what I have said. Fear of high prices. Customers are only afraid of high prices when they don't see quality, when they don't see size, when they don't see the things that they want to buy. All right? So if you can put the gifts together and make them appear larger than they are. One of the mistakes that most people make when they're making a basket is that they don't put sufficient filler in the basket. I start from the rim up, not from the bottom. I'll either use heavy brown paper. Some people will use peanuts. I don't like peanuts because they shift. They have a tendency to, and then there's what is known as compression. Compression is when you pack a gift with shred or even peanuts or whatever, and it goes over a long distance. And what happens is it gets pushed down. It gets pushed down and down and down. And before you know it, the film, if it shrink, the film has loosened. It appears as if the film is just a shell, and the product simply settled down. It's like you sitting, Basil, in a big down sofa. And the first time you sit in it, you're up here, but 2 hours later, you've settled in 4 inches because the air has been pushed out. So the shred in here and the heavy paper, when you put that in and you put your hand on it before you put the product in, it must, you almost should not be able to press down. Now, a way that you can take care of that compression, after you shrink your basket, you're going to come back with your heat gun and you're going to bring the package into your body and you're going to press down. And when you press down, the film will buckle. And now here you've got to be very technically quick. I mean, no more than 2 to 3 seconds worth of heat, because you've taken the film almost 90 to 95% down shrink-wise. If you try and go in and get too many wrinkles out, you'll burn a hole, all right? So instead of trying to do that, all you want to do is bang. Now, what do we do about holes in the front? Well, there's a couple things that we do. When you make a hole over here and you're in a hurry, you make a hole over there, and you take some cosmic stardust and you put it in. One over here and one over here. And when the customer comes in and says, I've never seen that before. That is so nice. See, you have to understand, the customer doesn't know. See, when a customer comes in to look at a basket, they're not looking at the film. They're looking at the products inside. It's sort of like, you know, when you drive on your street, you don't see all the telephone poles. But today, when you go home, look at all the many telephone poles and all the sign poles that are in the street. You just don't. When you walk the trade show, you don't look at the lights on the poles at the trade show. You're looking at the booth. But there's 25 or 30 booths that have lights shining on their booth, but it's like non-vision, okay? So let me talk about one more thing about holes. If you ever have to refrigerate a basket, fruit basket or chocolate basket, you want to keep it cool, always burn a hole in the bottom and a hole in the top. That will eliminate your frosting and moisture. You're wrapping a room temperature basket at, let's say, 75 degrees, and you put it in a 40-degree walk-in box, you'll get droplets of moisture immediately. So you've trapped warm air inside a cold refrigerator. So by burning that hole in the very back and covering the hole with the bow, what you're doing is you're covering it with the bow, but the air will go around it. The cold air will go into the bottom and filter up and push the warm air out. All hot air always rises. The hot air will come out the top, and within 20 minutes you'll have a 40-degree basket. When it comes out of the refrigerator, it'll come back to room temperature and eliminate your problem. All right, let me just close real quick. So what did we learn today? What we learned was that we can take a single box of anything and cover it with gift paper to theme it, or sports pages, or magazine pages, or whatever, to get the theme that we want, okay? And basically, we want to make sure that we have some, what I call ooh la la gifts on display at all times. If you only have standard gifts in your store, when the customer comes in, they'll never say, ooh la la, look at that gift. So you have to get the customer reaching and show them that you're doing gifts that no one else in the community is doing. When you do that, all of a sudden, you become the competition. And people then say, if you want a really knockout gift, I'm going to tell you where to go. Go down to this store down there because they've got the best looking gifts, all right? I think the other thing is that, you know, if you love what you do, getting up in the morning you're not going to work. You're getting up to do, and you're a very lucky person if you do that, because there's a lot of people who are driving 90 miles one way to work and 90 miles back, and you have to wonder how they do it every day, all right? Let me just give myself a plug. If you put gift basket expert in Google, I come up #1. Thank you, God. And that's from 40 years of hard work, all right? I have a 125-page website. I do an awful lot of private consulting for people who want to take their business to the next step. So here they are here, and they're not sure. So first of all, I would normally recommend buying the 3 videos at $86. Having those 3 videos, you're not going to get very much of what I said today in those 3 videos. You're going to get all new information, and information about what you were talking about, the stacking and the design and the concepts of building and making it bigger. So we're going to give you 83 trade secrets, 25 how-to, all right? And then on the website, there's a lot more technical information. There's another 100 gifts on my gift gallery that you can take a look at and print out, and either use the pictures in the same way, you know, copy what I'm doing, or do what you do. I'm saying, you know, look at what I do and then say, I wouldn't do it that way, I'm going to do it this way, and this is the way I'm going to make myself happy, you know, that sort of thing. So I have one more story to tell you, and it has to do with the first Iraq War. All right, now, do you mind standing up? Everybody's been standing, maybe that's a good idea. Doesn't it feel good? It has to do with the first Iraq War. Yeah, it does feel good to stand up, all right? And during the first Iraq War, there were 3 presidents of 3 oil companies, Shell, Sunoco, Texaco, and they were all staying in a hotel on the Red Sea, waiting for the war to go over so they could go back into Saudi Arabia and make more money, all right? So this one morning, they happened by accident to be walking on the beach in very casual attire, and they all met each other. They all knew each other. And before you know it, they're walking down the beach together, and one of them stumbles over something in the sand. He goes down, he digs it out, and it's a giant gold genie's lamp. And as he's wiping the sand off, a 100-foot genie comes out and says, I can give you each a wish, but I must tell you beforehand, if you state your wish, I must complete the wish. So whatever you tell me, be very careful. So the first man says, well, I want to be more knowledgeable. I want to have more understanding of the world. Enlightenment. So the genie waves his hand, and immediately you can see a whole new light coming from the man's eyes. You know? So the second man says, yes, only I want to be 10 times smarter than him. Waves his hand, and again, a new light coming. So the third man says, the genie says, what do you want? Third man says, I want to be 100 times smarter than him. The genie says, are you sure? He said, yes. So I now pronounce you a woman. Did you have a good time? Hey, was it worth getting up this morning? Thanks for coming.